Tier list videos, they're popular. What else is popular? The unstoppable march of capitalism. E3 presentations for this week, and today we're going to do all of the companies a big favour and rank them. So, have you watched much E3?
I've only watched the highlights, and even then, I haven't.
Let's get started. The PC Gaming Conference. Now, this one is a snooze fest every year.
Yep.
This one is not an exception at all.
Not at all. I think
No.
the only game that they remotely talked about that was interesting was Dying Light 2, and they kind of brushed over it.
I thought Dying Light 2 released like 7 years ago.
Yeah, apparently not.
How long have they been working on Dying Light 2? I feel like they've been working on that game for ages. Anyway, so this is a big snooze fest. They had a giveaway in the stream where they were trying to give away the ugliest PC that the world has ever seen. You can put a graphic of that PC up on the screen now. So what are we thinking? C or D?
I'm thinking C.
C.
What's this one?
Okay. Square Enix. Did you see any Square Enix?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, the Square Enix conference, if you didn't see it, they talked about Guardians of the Galaxy.
I remember now. That's the game I keep forgetting.
Yeah, they talked about that for roughly 7 or 8 years. They showed off one of the most embarrassing Final Fantasy protagonists they've ever had. He looks like Eminem wanted to kill the concept of God. I think a high D tier. They showed a lot of gameplay,
A high D.
but the gameplay wasn't very good. So I think we should go high D tier on that
There
one.
we go.
Bandai Namco. So Bandai Namco had a conference.
Yep. They showed one game.
They showed one game. There was actually a rumor before the conference that Bandai Namco were going to show off a new proper fighting game based off the My Hero Academia anime. And people were like, oh, this is going to be like an interesting thing to look out for. Didn't announce that. What we got was a new trailer for a game that we already knew existed, and that was the entire thing. Yeah, so good work, Bandai Namco. You go all the way down here.
It's so F tier that we don't even consider you to be anywhere close to the other ones.
Yeah, that was honestly the most shocking performance of the entire event. Razer. This one was interesting. They had lots of highs, lots of lows.
Yeah.
So-
I think they talked about 3 products predominantly.
Yes.
I think the standout one is their charger.
No, because it costs $180.
It's $180 for a charger.
For a charger. Razer, what are you thinking? It's $180.
Hey, remember you announced the toaster? That was a better idea.
They talked about other things that are actually worth your time. For example,
Yes.
the Razer Blade 14, very powerful, and the base model is actually not that bad of a deal. About $1,800.
Yeah, that's the base model, and you
Yeah.
get like a RTX 3060 with that. You get like a base model AMD 5900HX,
Some
Which is-
Ryzen 9
which
thing.
is honestly a really good chip as well.
Yeah,
like it's
like-
like 8 cores.
The base model, I would consider that a very good deal.
Yeah, the monitor.
The monitor is like the biggest thing about the monitor is that it's a super good gaming monitor that is also THX certified.
Yes.
Which means that the target market for this monitor is roughly 3 people. So I don't know who's gonna buy this monitor. It's not that outrageously priced for what it is.
The refresh
It's
rate
just-
is quite good as well.
Yeah, it's like 165 frames a second hertz.
Yeah, it's really good.
I just don't know who's going to buy it because how many pro gamers are also color grading?
I think this is good for like YouTubers maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, and like, I don't know.
I'll be honest, as far as Razer goes on the board, I think it deserves a B.
I think it deserves a B too. I agree with
I
that.
think that's really
I think a solid B. They did embarrass themselves slightly with Project Hazel.
Yes.
However, I think we'll give them a pass because they actually showed something that
make
you
some good
might.
stuff.
They showed something that you might actually want to buy, which is
It's good.
something that you can't say about Capcom.
Oh.
So Capcom, they showed off, again, roughly 6 or 7 years of Monster Hunter. They showed Monster Hunter, they showed a new Ace Attorney, which looked it looked okay, I guess. And then they reminded you that Street Fighter V existed without announcing anything new about Street Fighter V.
Wait, what's Street Fighter?
Anyway,
Yes.
Capcom, that was pretty We're going D.
I'm going to say D. I think.
Is it D or is it? No, it's going D because they actually showed Ace Attorney.
It could be a C, but I think they could have pushed harder for the C.
Yeah, they definitely could have pushed harder. I feel like this is going to be a slightly contentious one.
Probably. I think
Ubisoft.
I think Ubisoft was quite bad.
I thought it was quite bad, but they showed a Far Cry cinematic
Yes.
that didn't really tell us anything.
Nope.
Did they show Just Dance?
I think they talked about it.
They talked about
I don't
Just
think they
Dance.
showed it.
Yeah.
Avatar.
They showed off Avatar.
Remember Avatar? Remember James Cameron's
Remember
Avatar?
James Cameron's Avatar?
Remember seeing that in 3D?
Remember seeing it? Remember it made $1 billion?
Remember seeing it at home? No, you don't.
Do you
Who's the
remember?
main character? Who's the main character?
Yeah, who's the main character? You don't know.
You don't know.
The name's Jake. This is the main character. I know.
Yeah, Jake Sully. Yeah.
I know too much. Ubisoft was quite.
Yes.
It wasn't good.
What about Mario and Rabbids?
No.
I don't want to think about Mario and Rabbids any more than I have to legally. So anyway, I almost want to give it a low C because they did show things.
They did show things. I'll be honest, because of the sheer amount of stuff that they showed, they can have a C.
Yeah, let's put low C. Devolver Digital.
Oh, something's gone wrong there.
Yeah, much like the real Devolver Digital, this one is slightly scuffed. Devolver Digital announced maybe like 3 or 4 actual things and then
Right.
just did their usual Devolver taking the piss for a long, exhausting time.
Yeah, it's gonna be appreciated though.
The joke's getting old, Devolver. We get it. You're quirky. Maybe tone it down next year. Maybe don't, have a bit last 8 minutes. Yeah, I'm willing to give them a C for at least sticking to their
I'm
guns.
gonna have to take your word for it. I didn't watch them.
I'm gonna go middle C. Please, for the love of God, get a new joke.
Xbox and Bethesda.
Xbox and Bethesda.
We added them plus because they don't seem to add all that much.
Yeah.
Skyrim has been announced again.
They announced Skyrim. They announced Skyrim at E3 10 years ago. They have been talking about Skyrim for 10 straight years at E3. So, Xbox.
They did show the
They
Battlefield
showed a
stuff.
lot.
They showed the Battlefield stuff. They deserve credit for that.
They showed
looks
a lot.
awesome.
Okay, they showed a lot of cinematics and they didn't show a lot of gameplay.
Well, they did show gameplay for Forza Horizon 5.
They
Which
did.
does look stunning.
It looks stunning. I kind of got it within the first 30 seconds.
Sure, it's not like
They
any other
also,
Forza game.
much like every other Xbox conference, they did continue to show Forza. I mean, to be fair, they might be still showing Forza in that press. It went for so long, it might still be going.
Yeah, fair enough.
They showed so little gameplay.
But the gameplay that they showed was quite good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's A material, but it's B material at the very least.
It would have, if it was in B, I think it would have to be the highest of B. I'd give it a low A. We'll put it like down here.
Yeah, that's alright.
You just about make A. Don't get too big for your boots. The big N, finally,
Nintendo.
Netflix games, Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo.
So, I think interesting things was a new WarioWare game.
Yep, which looks cool.
It looks cool. A new Fatal Frame, which is a series that was typically only in Japan. I think this is the first Fatal Frame that they're bringing to the West. I might not be correct on that. It's one of the first mainline titles, I think. So I think that's interesting. I want to play that. That seems cool. Super Monkey Ball. I think that's a multi-platform, but I think it fits quite well on Switch.
It does.
What else? They showed Monster Hunter again for the 60th time.
Yeah, for about an hour.
They
longer.
showed more of the golf game.
Yeah, Mario Golf.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2, yeah.
Metroid Dread.
Yep.
Although I have a chronic condition where I cannot bring myself to give a shit about Metroid. Metroid Dread, in terms of the history of the title, Metroid Dread specifically goes back to about 14 years ago. It was rumored to be in development. It was a big thing for Metroid fans where they were like, oh, if only Metroid Dread got made. The fact they brought back Metroid Dread as like the title is so cool.
Oh yeah.
And it gives me hope for Mario 128. Make it happen, Shiggy. Anyway, I think this deserves a high A.
I think it does as well. I think it's done well.
I
I don't
think-
think it's quite S tier.
It's not S tier, no. I think these.
There were too many JRPGs for an S tier.
Yeah,
Too much Monster Hunter as well.
the Smash Ultimate announcement was a bit tepid.
Mm.
I'll give it a high A.
There we go.
There we go.
That's
And
our list.
there is the list
Don't
of.
forget.
Don't forget Bandai Namco.
No,
They need
they're-
to be shamed.
They're
publicly.
here. We just don't really want them to be.
Yeah, Bandai Namco, get it together. Holy shit. Do you know what E3 is? Were you aware?
You have a whole panel. That's all we have for you today.
Yeah, S tier, big blank this year. Maybe if Sony had showed up and tried, maybe they could have done something.
They could have done. I think actually maybe Sony is the bigger winner because you're playing Ratchet and Clank, right? So who really won?
Another Lombax. The boundaries between the universes are coming undone.
Ratchet, we need your help!
Anyway, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Stay safe,
gamers.
gamers.